in the sense of the stringed instruments versus the piano, the personal relationship to the instrument itself, the guitar not only is similar to this, like this, the guitar is like this, but like this, which has no meaning on the piano other than just the fingering between the white and black phases of its structure. The guitar has this in full, up and down, right and left. So the guitar has north, south, east, and west in its tangents, where the piano has only east and west. The piano is based upon addition. 7 white keys, 5 black keys. I came to find out it was my father who had to go to certain leaders and say, when in my first bands, I don't think he's making enough. And he did that. He really did that. He was very aggressive. If you don't pay my son a little bit more than that, I'm going to take him out of this band. and the leader really fought along with it, but paid a couple of more dollars for me. And I wanted to be the leader that the father came and saw the leader, to say to the leader, "You're really a nice guy, thanks. I'm happy with where my son's at, or my daughter's at. This was good for him. I'm glad that they met you."
Pat, can I take it back to the
Please.
sacred geometry and to links back with this kind of innate, intrinsic musicality that you have? You showed me something which gave me real insight this morning when you showed me the intervals thing on the keyboard, and you explained with the diagram that it's 3-dimensional, and so the room itself has a musicality.
Sure.
Can you say a little bit more about that? Because that strikes me as profoundly interesting, actually, that you can presumably go into any space and you don't just see the shapes and the colours and the architecture, but it has a musical significance as well. Is that the case?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to.
Please.
I find my I want to attain continuity with the ecstasy of loving what I do. So therefore, when something used to come up that would distract me from my priority, which was the ecstasy of the moment, there was a breakage in the flow. The continuity was destroyed. So I began to study intervals in a different dimension, in a different way. I began to see the practicality of familiarity. Familiarity being my wristwatch as a circle with 12 points of reference on it, as normally known as hours of the day. And I saw that as an extension or a reassessment of the definition of what music was, since I found my ecstasy in the music. Now I found the music on my wrist at the same time, so if I had to look at my watch, I saw another melody. And that was pleasing to me. But when I walked into a room, it was alien to me. Not only that, for instance, on the guitar, and that were the subject or the topic, the most consonant would be this note here. They're so blended and so balanced. And the most dissonant would be this note here. That would sound like this. See, like this. So there's dissonance and consonance. Dissonance on the floor. This dissonance is a minor second. Minor second. So too is the stairway from one floor to the next. Each of the steps are so close together that they're a minor second apart. You see, as opposed to if you were to leap over a longer stretch, 2 steps instead of 1 step, foot by foot, would be a major second, and a minor third if it were 3 steps. So everything began to read exactly the same as the intervals. And consonants on the top became something like this off of this note. This is called an A9 chord. Well, this is also called an E minor triad. Over A. So an A9 is now in two dimensions like this, but I could also call it E minor over A, which is what fusion started. In fact, even if I did this, if I put this note here, now I did this, so now I had this here, and I put this note there, and this set of strings, all of the majors and all of the minors in any combination, and creating it gave me nothing but the pure nature of the instrument playing for me, not with me.
What is called now the nature of guitar, this is what Pat is now publishing on his website. It's really a blueprint for how the guitar works, what automatic devices one can use on the guitar. Now, to put it in more simple terms, every instrument has things that someone who is a novice can do. For instance, on a piano, there are white keys and black keys, and they're very easy to play for the first time. On the guitar, there didn't seem to be that automatic, easy thing to play. Up to that point, when I would study with a guitar teacher, it would be, here's C7 in one style or one fingering version, and then come back the next week, and here's another version. Whereas with Pat, he said, well, why don't I show you how to come up with any chord on any combination of string that could possibly be played. And he did that by a couple of diagrams, one being the augmented and diminished chords, and the other being the different possibilities on the guitar, meaning the combination of strings groups. So you have 6 strings, and there's a finite amount of possibilities that you could have and that you could play. And the combination of those two approaches on the instrument literally gave you a method to teach yourself the instrument. And I ran with it. I mean, it was a wonderful thing. A couple of sheets of paper gave me this approach that I still today am exploring, because it could take 1,000 lifetimes to go through it, as they say.